Great pass. What a catch!
My goodness.
What an amazing catch from Vicky McFarlane.
Highlight reel. Never say yes to the jest. That was fantastic. Sarasota can make it a push for home. Misses 400 herself. 13 strikeouts for Gabby Snyder and one of the best pitching performances we've seen this season. One and a fantastic grab.
Yes, good evening and welcome back to live softball action from Adelaide in South Australia. The beautiful West Beach facility here. James Harris calling the action. Alongside me is Mark Cramp, Kathy Lambert, and they're bringing you all the statewide super special comments for the big clash between the West Torrens Eagles and Glenelg Rebels. Welcome, Mark and Kathy.
Thanks, James. It's great to be back. It has been quite some time since I've been here calling a game, and I'm quite excited. Obviously, we've got the Lambert v. Lambert clash happening tonight, but another perfect night here at softball headquarters in West Beach.
And g'day, James. G'day, everybody. And I say it every week, but what a fantastic night for softball. Yeah, the Lambert versus Lambert. If you had a third child, it'd be like the Revenge of the Nerds, the Lambert.
We actually do have a third child, Mark. A lot of people are quite surprised about that.
Oh no, are they playing? If they were playing tonight,
Hello, Shannon. She lives in Belgium.
Wow.
Doing a doctorate, I believe.
Yes, she is.
Hello to our supporters in Belgium. Speaking of Lamberts, up to bat, James. Jordan is skying that one out now to second base.
Yeah, Bree McGee taking a good catch to get things going for the Rebels, and that will give them some confidence as they really do need to get off to a good start. They are sitting 7th on the ladder, 3 wins, 15 losses and 2 draws, whereas West Torrens are sitting pretty, 14 wins, 6 losses. They are in 3rd, however, they've played 3 less games than Sturt, who sit above them 1 point, just 1 point separating 2nd and 3rd, and of course, Walkerville Cats sitting on top 2 games. They've played 2 games more than West Torrens and 3 points ahead on 31. Other game tonight, we'll bring you some updates, and Lee Hull's our man on the spot over on Diamond 2, bringing you an update from the Hills versus Port Adelaide game when we get a moment. So we are underway. That is, of course, Taylor Mead pitching for the Glenelg Rebels, and Faith Picard is in the batter's box for the Eagles. She pulls this one foul, and I think next time we get a break in play, Mark, I might get you to go through the Rebels' defensive lineup.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that tonight, James. I've got all the names in front of me here, so I shouldn't upset anybody unless on my pronunciation, Kathy, is as it normally is, and that's out.
Well, here goes Picard. A great take by Alicia Mead at 3rd base for the second out. So, Mark, there you go. You've got your opportunity.
Well, thank you very much, James. We've got Taylor Mead pitching to Montana Edwards in the catcher's position. First base, we have Barb's Kapova. Now, we've got McGee at second base, Shepherd at Courtney Shepherd at shortstop, Alicia Mead playing 3rd base. Centre field, we've got Regan Lambert. Left field, it's Caitlin Carroll. Right field, Sasha Penglaze.
And this is Sophie Oil up to bat for the Eagles. Already 2 out in the top of the 1st. Now, we have seen that the competition is so tight. We saw Walkerville and Seacombe have a 0-0 draw. When Walkerville was sitting top, Seacombe was sitting last and 7th place. So it's actually a very tight competition regardless of the wins and losses, runs for and against, where we see Glenelg 126 runs against for the season. So their defense is key right now.
Talking about that, what I think is going to be interesting tonight is the off pace of Taylor Mead. Now, she's throwing around the high 70s, 80s, mid 80s, you know, they're coming down. That's going to put West Torrens off, isn't it? Because they're used to these imports, you know, Sutherland Finch, Kim Reed, all that sort of stuff. But at the moment, they're way ahead of the... they're seeing them quite well, but they're not getting onto them, are they? Yeah,
we saw a cheap pop-up from Lambert, and then a ground out from Picard.
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally agree with you, Mark. I think this is going to be a real key for the Glenelg team to kind of hold the run rate from West Torrens tonight, as this off-speed pitching from Taylor Mead, and she's gotten off to a good start. When you've retired Jordan Lambert and Faith Picard in their first times at bat, it's a really great start.
Yeah, well, the Rebels are actually looking for the next wave through of players, aren't they? Because they've trialled a few different pitches so far in the season. As Sophie Hoyle goes to a full count and takes ball 4, so a runner aboard for West Torrens, bring up to bat Kelsey Nucky. So it's just saying that the Rebels are looking for their next season's pitcher, aren't they? They've tried Lauren Jury, and we saw Montana Edwards throw an inning, and Sasha Penglace has probably just settled into an outfield position, whereas Taylor Mead has stood up for him of late because of their first base forward tonight, Barb Skopova, who suffered an injury during the mid-season break, and we haven't seen her this side of Christmas, and gee, aren't they missing her?
Yeah, well, they are, and that tells on the ladder, unfortunately, for Glenelg. And she started off well. She sort of started a bit slow, and then she came right into a groove, didn't she? And she started really throwing some. Oh, well, we've got some stats there. So last Skopov at her best. Yes, West Torrens 5, Glenelg 6. So that says it, doesn't it, James? Yeah,
we saw Glenelg in an upset win over West Torrens earlier in the season. And Skopova was throwing those change-ups, and
beautiful change-ups too.
Nucky pulls this one to the 5-6 hole, and a single, and the first hit of the ball game for the Eagles. So Kelsey Nucky aboard, advancing Sophie Hoyle to second, which will bring up Carly Allen. Now, for me, this will be my first time I've seen Carly this side of Christmas, so good to see her back. Have got any stats on her at all, Kath? Yeah,
we haven't seen a lot of Carly, as you said, since Christmas, but yeah, she's still sitting nicely with a 265 batting average. She's about halfway through the West Torrens lineup in terms of where she sits with that. So, she's always good with the bat, and with 2 people on, Taylor's going to want to work really hard here to limit those runs coming across the plate.
Well, she was catcher in team of the year last year, so she's got good form of the last few years. She's been a little quiet though this year by her lofty standards.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You set such a high standard for a couple of seasons, you have what you think is a mediocre season, but it's still another high standard season for her, a good batting average. This is a danger spot, isn't it, right now for Glenelg. If she gets onto this, there's a couple of runs out there.
Well, 1 ball and 1 strike as she pulls this one. Great play from Alicia Mead. She plucks that one out just to her glove side on her left. Just has to lean into it, really, didn't she? Plays her base for the 3rd out. So statewide super replay will show Alicia Mead with her 2nd play of the game, and she's in that hot corner. Yep. And hasn't she had a breakout season, young Alicia Mead?
She has. I know I called it at the start of the season when we talked about Rookies of the Year or Breakout Players of the Year, and yeah, Alicia, she slotted into that 3rd base position, and she's just owned it ever since then. And probably quite surprising for a lot of people. It's her first year in the A grade, and maybe some people thought at her age it might take a little while to settle in, but there wasn't any sign of that at all.
Is this a Pippa Atkins type breakout year for Alicia Mead? Like, is this I'm playing the game that I love, I'm young, but I'm going to make my presence like Pippa did? Is it the standard of the same year, or is it a little bit apart?
That's an awesome call, actually, Mark. They're about the same age, or she's about the same age as what Pippa was last year. Of course, last year's A-grade Rookie of the Year. I'm not quite sure she's had the standard of, say, Azali Adams, maybe for Sturt. However, we will see in just a few weeks' time who will be the Adelaide Competition A-grade Rookie of the Year. What's she hitting? Just out of matter of curiosity, Kathy.
Yeah, she's sitting with a 255 batting average and an on-base average of, let's have a look here, of 340.
How good is that for a first-year A-grade player? And I think she's played every game as well. 20 games, I think she's played for the season.
So she said 20 games.
Well, there she is, Alicia Mead. Mark, you want me to go through the
do yourself a favour, mate.
Well, Maddie Scott's pitching to Carly Allen, Kelsey Nucky at first with Faith Picard at second, Jordan Lambert at short, Sophie Hoyle at 3rd base, in the outfield from left to right is Brodie Borovnik, Alicia Marchenk, and Jackie Beale at right field. Now, the handy name that they have sitting in the dugout, Steph Trzynski. She's played 2 innings so far this season for 5 strikeouts. Thank you very much. We'll see her later on in the night, you think, guys?
Oh, look, to be honest with you, she might come out for a closing innings, but that'll be about it to make a guest appearance for her team, stay in the rhythm. I don't think they're going to waste her. I mean, Maddie Scott's been throwing well, hasn't she? And I think she'll continue to do so.
Well, these two teams played about a week and a half ago, and she came in and threw her first inning of the season for 3 strikeouts just to close out the game. So Coach Andrew Scott is trying to get some innings into her as we come to the pointy end of the season. All right, here we go. Caitlin Carroll leading things off for the Rebels. Swing and a miss at this second pitch of her return at bat. So it's a 1-1 count now. She probably sits above the top of the tree for Glenelg as far as stats go, Kathy?
She is at the top of the tree for the stats. Yeah, she's got a batting average at the moment of a 303 with an on-base average of 343. So she's really consistent and a really important part of this batting lineup.
And a national champion for South Australia in 2015. We'll never forget the year that Andrew Priest led the South Australian under-19 women's team to a national championship. It was our last and 4th national championship that we have won here in South Australia. It was played right here on West Beach on this very diamond. So happy hunting ground for Caitlin Carroll. She watches this one for a ball.
I tell you what, Maddie Scott to me has got a great work ethic. I saw her in the new facilities over the back here about 2 years ago. We were warming up with the Nan Angels, and her dad was sitting on a milk crate just catching to her, and she was just firing him and firing him and firing him for her. And she's come a long way in those 2 years, hasn't she? A lot of self-development, a lot of growth, doing well.
Yeah, and a lot of confidence, as you said, Mark, and I think that's made a huge difference. Just believing that she belongs out there and not feeling the pressure of carrying the team on her shoulders. She's got an amazing team behind her, and she just has to do her job out there, and nothing more really.
Regan Lambert hitting 2 for the Rebels with a runner on first, so Caitlin Carroll doing the job and getting aboard with that lead-off walk. I'll go back to Maddie Scott. She is a bit of an unsung hero, and you just touched on that, Kathy, that she's got an amazing team behind her. So much talk about the West Torrens infield. Of course, Lana Kaiser missing tonight. Faith Picard slots in there at second. Emma Burridge is another name that West Torrens can boast in their infield, which is an absolute top shelf defense, and so because of that she has been an unsung hero for the 3 years she played in great competition, but I think the last 2 years she's kept her ERA under 2.
That's impressive.
That's as good as any of the imports. Regan Lambert, piece of the ball to Sister Jordan, who will try to make the double play. Great pick up from Kelsey Nucky. Good call from you, Mark. We may see it on the statewide super replay. Here it is right now. So Regan Lambert settles in and takes a good cut at the ball there, and a ground out to shortstop. She's watching the ball a little too long, but yeah, we saw Kelsey just sneak off the base just a little bit there. This will be a better angle.
And as she's running down the base there, you can see that Jordan Lambert picks it up cleanly, but just a little bit of a sort of a fumble, sort of a half step as she was going towards second, and got rid of the ball too quick. But I think what the funny part of that was, or the most exciting part of that for me, was the fact that when Regan hit it, she looked halfway and realised who got it, and said, "This is not going to be good." She owes her one.
That was a bit of payback from about 10 or 11 days ago when Jordan Lambert led off the game when Regan was playing shortstop and she grounded out. So love lost between the two sisters there. Here's Alicia Mead. We were talking about her just at the top of the, or just during the break in the innings, and she's really applied herself this year. And we speak about breakout seasons, and it's so good to see the juniors of our competition coming through. Regan Lambert on first base now. She does have some good wheels on her. She's got a good athletics background, and well, the statewide super replay shows her, and that is brought to you by Space Quake Sports, and Mr. David Muggleton doesn't do a fantastic job. We're very lucky to have him and his team bringing you all this fantastic live softball action.
You know what he's just done there, don't you? He's created another argument at the family dinner table. David Muggleton, that one's on you.
Regan will think it's payback from a couple of games ago when she's still assured that she was safe in that slide into second.
Well, slide into second base, she was safe. I think I said that to Jordan Lambert after the game, Kathy, didn't I?
Sure did.
Did you get her? And she goes, no, I don't think so. So, but we go with the umpire's call, and that's what makes this game great, is that it's a split decision, bang, bang play, James, as we always say. And that's what makes the world go round. So you respect what's called and you move forward.
Well, called by State Umpire-in-Chief Steve Wallace-Yarrow, umpiring over at first base, Kevin Tannenbring over at second and third, and Damien McCauley behind the plate calling the action. And isn't Damien McCauley one of the greats of our umpiring game? Carly Allen fires this one across, and there we are, the two sisters collide as Alicia Mead strikes out, and the throw over from Carly Allen was right on the money. And Jordan Lambert completes the play as Regan took a knee to the head. Let's have a look at the statewide super replay. Strike three, Carly Allen firing it across. And they got a lift together to the field. I wonder if they'll talk about that one on the way home.
Yeah, well, look, you can't complain about that throw. That throw was on the money. Well done to Carly Allen. And a great reaction too by Jordan Lambert. Sorry, I was a bit distracted there, by Jordan Lambert to get that ball. So good tag all in all, wasn't it? Good spring off the feet. Watch Carly pop up here early.
Great play and good reaction. Always a good sign of a catcher, even when the batter is swinging, that they can still get the throw away, and just shows her class. I mean, she was a very deserved winner of the catcher and the team of the year last year. I think she hit something ridiculous, 450 or something outrageous like that, as well as just picking off runners. And we do know she likes to throw the ball around, so that is just a warning to the Rebels runners.
Well, that was just a perfect example of what, Kathy, you were saying before about Maddie Scott having such a team behind her. Now, that's just a perfect example, wasn't it, where your catcher goes to your shortstop, they get the outside away. It's like, I threw the ball down there as my number one. I threw it down there, but it wasn't required to be anything special, was it?
That's exactly right, and that's what, you know, Maddie needs to just keep remembering day in and day out. Like you said, she's a hard worker, and she really wants to shine in the game and do the best she can, but all she needs to do is just pitch that ball and right through the strike zone each time.
Well, Alicia Mead goes back to work for the Rebels, and just a little high and an off-speed pitch first up to Brodie Borovnik. So now one of our exciting young athletes, Brodie Borovnik, just out of under 19s, pulls this one down the left side, it goes foul. At under 19s perhaps last year maybe, so she's about 21 years of age, and she is also a multi-sport player in an Australian lacrosse squad.
Wow.
I love the talent on show here in the Adelaide Club competition.
Didn't we play with her father in the Glenelg Rebels premiership side of multiple years ago?
We did, and there she goes. Brodie Borovnik. We'll touch on Dave in a moment as she gets the West Torrens Eagles off to the best of starts in the top of the second inning with a single to centre field. We saw Regan Lambert was playing probably a little more centre left than centre field, and she had to break to her right to take that one. Now that field setup is probably because of the off pace that we're seeing from the pitching. However, yeah, back to Dave Borovnik, is an umpire here in the Adelaide Club competition, as well as a former premiership player with the Glenelg Rebels. So g'day to Dave, I'm sure he'll be watching.
Yeah, that was a really nice, solid piece from Brodie, and perfect positioning. Even if Regan was in the center, it was probably going to be a little tricky for her to even get that. So it was great, a great piece.
Well, honestly, I think Regan was in the correct position, given the fact that we're looking at 75 to 77 k's an hour, and we got a bit of a wild throw there going for chasing the runner. Borovnik running to two. She was in the correct position, I think, being that sort of left centre. But it's one of those, you're up against a great batter who can then just push it out where the gap is, James, don't you reckon?
Yeah, I'll name drop here. I was talking to our good friend Lang Harrow yesterday. He made a visit to speak with these Travelodge Aussie Spirit players and representatives over the last day or so, and we were talking about a batter's ability to be able to hit the ball opposite field is almost as important as their ability to lay down a bunt or in a good situation and execute a hit and run. And speaking of, we see Alicia marching, pull the ball, and shortstop Courtney Shepherd just has a little bit of a hard time on that second bounce. Just come up and just bit her a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like a situation where she probably just needed to move into that a little bit, not allow that second bounce to happen, because you see what happens when you just wait too long for that ball.
That comes with experience, though, Kathy, doesn't it? Courtney Shepherd, has she been in the game very long? Is she experienced? I haven't watched many of the Glenelg games.
Yeah, she's one of the young stars of the Rebels. Kathy, you might know a little bit more about her. But I was, speaking of Lang, my friend Lang, we were just talking also about how easy it is for our pivot players to attack the ball, and so he wants to bring a new dimension to the game for the Travelodge Aussie spirit, and that is to challenge opposition defences. So interesting to see that game plan in action as they will take off to Mankato in Minnesota. Hello to all our friends in Minnesota. I know Joel Cooley will be watching. He's from Minnesota. He's represented South Australia before in the men's, and the Aussie Peppers will be based out of Mankato for the next MPF season. So it'll be very interesting to see how Australia tackle the middle infielders of that competition. Maddie Scott pulls this one foul.
Yeah, I don't think you can get Langharrow in anymore. Do you reckon, Kathy? We might hear it Langharrow a couple more times tonight, or do you reckon that'll be it?
I think he's doing a bit of name dropping tonight, is he?
I'm too embarrassed to say who is it. No, I'm joking. Top bloke, Lang. Very nice guy. Know him well.
Of course,
yeah, Mankato might be a little bit cooler as well over where they were based last year in Missouri. So it'll be interesting, a little greener as well. So it'll be interesting how they settle into life in Minnesota.
Have a look at this play here, James, Kathy. He keeps putting a bit of a slap run on Scott in this particular position. Is this a tactic that he's going to employ come the finals, or is this? Oh, look at that.
Great piece of the ball there from Maddie Scott. She takes an inside pitch and she rips this one over the top of Penglace's head. Brody Borovnik will score, Alicia Marchek will score from third, and Maddie Scott will stand up at third with a 2-run triple. Great pickup from you, Mark. This was definitely a tactic in play from Coach Scott and the West Torrens Eagles, because the infield will be in trying to defend the 1-3 split. The statewide super replay shows that Maddie Scott can rip that ball if you come in and the outfield were in.
Well, I think she hit it better than sort of anticipated, don't you think? Because you can see right field creeping in, because she was slapping that, and then she just got onto that and gave it a ride. And that's what I mean. It's a bit of a tactic, I think, that he's mentally preparing the girls come the finals.
We'll definitely see that in finals time from the West Torrens Eagles, because every run is going to count when you're going to come up against the likes of a Sutherland Finch or a Jessie Dressick, and even the likes of the Sturt Falcons defence led by Zali Adams and Millie Fidge. Great pickup, Mark. Well done. That's a good call.
I'm trying to work out what's on Coach Scott's arm. Is that a stubby holder? Is that
That's Maddie's elbow guard.
Maddie's elbow guard, right.
So as the batters arrive safely on base, you might see them pass over their batting gloves or leg guard, elbow guard on this occasion. And, well, the base coaches don't have anywhere else to put it.
Well, to put it on your arm. It's a trend that I'm seeing these days, all these leg guards, these wrist guards, the guard for the guard. I was watching some famous old softball footage. I think Chris Kiefel, another name there, posted something about the Beast back in the day, or the King and his men, and they had a face mask. That's all the catcher had back in the day, and they were still throwing down 100 and something Ks an hour. And
the King and his court, Mark, were a legendary band of 5 men that would travel the US countryside, taking on any opposition. And I don't think they lost too many games.
Like the Globetrotters of softball, I think it was, wasn't it?
He used to pitch in a suit. From second base.
Really?
Yeah, blindfolded from second base. Yeah, an absolute legendary. Look it up. King in his court. Lindy Radigan knows what I'm talking about. She's to our left. Just talking about King in his court.
I think Lindy would have been about 38 when she went and saw him the first time.
Oh, that is harsh.
I'm glad I'm sitting between you two.
Jackie Bell it is for West Torrens. Got put this up to Regan Langer at centre field, and Maddie Scott does not even take on that arm. That is maximum respect right there for Regan Lambert as she takes a comfortable catch. She didn't even try.
I haven't even been scoring. Jordan Lambert back on deck to make amends. But you're right, didn't even move. I said, I'll just stay here for a minute. Know who's on deck. Faith Picard up next.
Well, that could be the reason why she held up, because Coach Scott knows it's got the top of the order coming up with just the one out. Oh, Jordan just pulls this one foul. Just a little early on the ball, so she's just got to let it travel a little bit more. Keep her head over the ball and try and hit the ball up the middle rather than pull the ball.
Yeah, it's very tempting when the pitch is coming in a little bit slower, you know, you just want to get onto it, but it just takes a little more patience just to hold back to make sure you take the right shot.
I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, guys, but it's absolutely sensational night of softball. There's a slight little breeze, which is helping with the blistering heat that we had during the day. It got up to about 4,500 degrees, and so it's an absolute pleasure to be out here in the shorts and t-shirt rather than the jacket and the beanie and the hoodie and the
Perfect night.
summer softball.
Beautiful night, Kathy.
It is a beautiful night.
Did you experience any nights like this on your travels in
I
the
was at-
last 3 months?
Well, I've done a lot of traveling in the last 3 months. Oh,
Jordan
my
Lambert
goodness.
gets a piece of this
No,
ball.
look
It's a
at that.
long ball all the way up to centre field. It's over.
Holy.
Jordan Lambert hits a home run way deep over centre field. It was an absolute smash of a shot. She touches them all.
Well, wowee, Jim, they don't call it, what do they call her in the Summer Slam? HR, and here we go.
HRH. Have a look at that.
HRH or something, a home run hitter?
Home run hitter. That was smack down the middle, the furthest part of the fence that you can get. What a
Statewide
great
Super
hit.
Replay. This was a perfect textbook swing.
She gets a good leg kick on that one and watches it and waits for it to come into the strike zone. She gets all of it, and that ball sails over 230 odd foot of fence for a maximum, and
Well,
she is trotting around the bases there. Good running technique. But she was
even
on a
when
trot.
she doesn't have to have it, but she's going to make sure she still does it. Yeah.
James, fantastic. Now, people would have heard me say, no, because you know why, Kathy? I'm not going to hear the end of that. Well done, well done, well done.
Jordan Lambert, a home run. The score blows out now to 4-0, a 2-run shot. Faith Picard up to bat. Well, oh wow. Well, when a player hits their very first home run over the fence in their career, they'll remember it, and she'll be able to watch this replay back over and over thanks to Spacequake Sports. First ever home run in Adelaide Club competition, and Faith Picard backs up that home run with a single. Regan Lambert running that one in, and look at the smile on her face, revving it up, as they say at West Torrens. Make sure you touch home plate, and the team gets around
it, don't they? Well done, Jordan Lambert. You'll never forget your first one. I have. But I'm a little bit older.
Yeah, and I can't even remember myself. I didn't even know if they had fences back in the day I played. I think we just rolled on the grass.
Yeah, you just hit them along the ground, Kathy, and leg them out. Oh, that
Great
hot
piece of the ball, Sophie Hoyle. Gee, she hits the ball hard. Alicia Mead gathers the ball on recovery. You can't penalise the young third baser for that one, because she absolutely laced that one to third base. And runners now on first and second. So we're to Kelsey Nucky now. There's still just the one out with 2 runners on base. And we are hopeful for the Glenelg Rebels that they can make a play here and get out of this inning, where West Torrens have put 4 on already.
Do they still have the 2 hot to handle? Is that still commonly used?
Well,
Too
Libby
hot to
might be
handle?
able to tell us more, but it's
Not in softball?
Isn't it more beyond reasonable effort? And so if it's a hard hit shot like that, you might credit the hit. Safe hit.
Safe hit, right. I would have put, I'm old school. That must be the baseball when I was youngster. Aaron James and Mark and Scott Rattingham would have got 2 hot safe to hot to handle, yeah.
It's interesting, Mark.
That's why we love you, Lindy.
You say that, Mark, because you know, I've been around a long time in softball as well, but I spent a lot of time watching the MPF last year, and it certainly changed my perception of what a hit and what an error is. And they reward batters for hard hits. You know, whether you get your glove to it or not, if that's a really hard hit, then you're rewarded. you're rewarded for it. So yeah, really, I came back sort of from watching that and realizing that we need to reward batters a bit more.
Well, I agree with you, Kathy. That's a debate I've been having my whole softball career against scorers. I reckon I should be rewarded a lot more.
Kelsey Nucky gets a 4-ball walk to load the bases for Carly Allen, and Rick Mead's going to take a visit to the mound.
Is it just me, or is Kelsey Nucky really shining this year with the bat? In a very strong team. She's batting number 4. She's doing well, I think. Every time I watch she sort of steps up. She gets that crucial hit, or she does something for the team. Is it just a team player that she is consistent, or is it a stand? Kathy,
I absolutely agree. Kelsey has been, she's a consistent player. She always is. You just know she's a sure thing. You know, I rarely see her have a bad game, but she's just such a quiet achiever. You know, she's not one of those big Lana Kaislers, Jordan Lambert, you know, the big personalities on the field. She just gets in and does what she needs to do, and does a great job at it.
And she's a lovely person as well, isn't she? Like a very grounded, down-to-earth girl, and really enjoys her softball.
Well, she is smiling away over on first base at the moment, and just plagued a little bit by injury this year, a little bit with a toe before Christmas and a knee just after Christmas, so she is battling it out at the moment. So well done to Kelsey. Loaded bases for Carly Allen now. Carly was up to bat last inning. So much has happened already, hasn't she? Ground out to third base.
I think third base grabbed it and touched, I think Alicia Mead picked up the ball and touched her own bag for the force, wasn't it?
Well, she pulls this one down the left side. Again, as we said with Jordan, if she just waits that little bit longer for the ball to travel into her power zone, she'll be able to smash this one to the fence, no doubt. The power that Carly Allen has is a feature of her game, and it's great to see. We've seen a stack of home runs this year. We spoke about that last week, I think, with Katie Sutherland-Finch leading the league with 3, but there's a whole bunch of them that have hit 1 or 2. Lana Kaiser's one of those players that's missing for the Eagles tonight.
So shout out to Lana Kaiser too, because she would have loved to have been here and to see one of her best friends and give her a high five.
And to celebrate with her as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and I noticed that Lana's actually watching the game and has already made a supportive comment for her best mate.
I don't know if she's watching the game or just listening to us, James. A bit of both.
Good calling so far tonight, guys. Let's get back to the action. We might talk ladder soon. We might talk games left to play this season, but Glenelg Rebels with their work cut out for them at the moment. Only the top of the second, but that we've passed the 30-minute mark. It's 4 runs to 0. There's only 1 out, and it's a full count to...
A little battle here, isn't it?
Carly Allen. Yep. Yeah, for sure. And
who's the pressure on right now? Is it on Taylor or is it on Carly? Like, you got a full count, loaded bases.
Well, Carly swing and a miss at this one into foul territory, and Alicia Mead is taking a great catch. Faith Picard was looking to steal an extra little base there, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Statewide Super Replay will show it.
I think you watched Damien McCoy. I think he calls it out before. It was just like it classed as an infield flyer. He had his arm up over the out sign already, so less than 2 down. Runners on first, second.
Only if it's fair, if it lands fair, right?
I would think so. Yeah, I think if it's in foul territory, it's no.
So Brody Borovnik will hit her second single of the inning. She's going to score 2 on this one. So Borovnik, who led off the inning with a single, rips this one into center field yet again for the Eagles, and a 2-run shot. Statewide Super Replay.
And look at that, come off crisp too, nice and flat. And then you see Regan get in there and throw it, but unfortunately threw it to sort of nowhere, didn't she? Didn't have the support, the shortstop. Unfortunately, Courtney had it back to the play, chasing the runner coming home, but you've got to look for the relay.
I can tell you what, the majority of the teams play the first base as the cutoff in this league, whereas Barb Skopova, who probably doesn't play there that often, as she's a pitcher, probably forgot that she was the cutoff, and so Regan's throw may have probably been in the right place. However, there was no cutoff man in there to take it.
Yeah, they have their little setups, don't they? Each sort of club, each team, the relays, the way they throw it, each competition. And these girls play a lot of different comps, so to try and remember all that sometimes, analyse the game.
We are looking at a little bit of a blowout here, guys. It's 6-0 in the top of the second. Last time these two teams played, West Torrens, well, they hammered Glenelg 14-1. And after what seemed to be a promising inning in the first inning for Glenelg, they were good in the field, and Taylor Mead was throwing quite well. We've seen 6 already in the second inning.
Yeah, it might have been that after that first inning, Coach Scott might have just said to his team, be a little more patient, have a little bit longer look at the ball, you know, don't be so eager in there. And, you know, if that was his message, it certainly was the right one, because we've seen a different game in the second inning.
Change up and pick off attempt from Edwards, trying to catch Kelsey Nucky napping over there at second. She's having a bit of a giggle, so obviously the team getting into her a little bit there. Don't be an out. Let Alicia bring you in. Alicia Marchang, her second turn at bat of the inning, and she will get a walk.
This was the risk. This was always going to be the risk, wasn't it? A blowout early. It's how the young team from Glenelg are going to respond now. And also what West Torrens are going to do with the pitching. Interesting to see if they keep Maddie on or they bring Steph in.
Well, Maddie Scott will ground out to Taylor for the third out, and a little bit of mercy for Glenelg as they finally get that third out. We saw Maddie Scott rip that ball into right fielder, first turn at bat, second turn at bat, ground out to the pitcher. This is Brodie Borovnik on the statewide super replay, a 2-run single. So Borovnik having a massive second inning with 2 singles, second one bringing in 2 runs. But here we go, Carly Allen, this was the pop-up into foul territory. But highlight of that second inning for you, Kathy Lambert?
Oh, I think it would have to be the first time home run over the fence by Jordan.
And here it is on the statewide super replay, and she gets all of that. Let's see if we can see how happy she is too, and deservedly so. It's been a while. Was a good swing. Yeah, it's good. Look at her. What's this rev it up? Talk to me about that, James. I might try that.
It's something within the West Torrens Club. They had some T-shirts made up when they had a evening to get out together, and revving it up was the logo that was on it. Can't tell you anymore.
And talking about those home run celebrations, I have to say that while I was at the SummerSlam in Sydney this year, what a great concept for a start. Congratulations, Softball Australia. Probably one of the most enjoyable times I've had at softball. But anyway, the home run celebrations that each of the teams came up, they were all quite unique, but they were absolutely so exciting to see. And of course, with lots of home runs being hit during the SummerSlam, we saw lots of it. It was great.
Fully loaded softball can come to your club. Each of the associations around South Australia have been sent the information, and we'd love to see it being played around the state. So if anyone is playing it, we'd love to let you know. Send us in some of your photos or your video footage to admin@softballsa.com.au. Fully loaded softball. And yes, Kathy, the SummerSlam featuring Jordan Lambert and the Travelodge Aussie Spirit players. They were separated over 6 teams, and Jordan played for the Riot, and she hit a home run in that tournament as well. So 3-run home run. And
yeah, different type of home run. Wasn't one of these over the fence, but in fully loaded softball they have a smaller fence because of the nature of the game, and they want to see a lot of big hits hit. So yes, it was close to clearing the fence out there at Blacktown, but it was definitely over the SummerSlam fully loaded softball fence at 190.
Yeah, 180 foot. And if you were watching at home on Fox Sports, you may very well have heard the crowd erupting just before that swing. HRH, a chant led by Jess Torpy and Maddie Cameron, as she hit the home run, and the crowd went wild. It was a sight to see. A bit of a crowd favourite, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and that sort of came out. Jordan got that title when she was over in the National Fast Pitch League in America, and something was going on at batting practice, and Coach Kerry Porter had said something about if anybody hits it over the fence in batting practice today, I think that she would get them a soft drink of some sort. And next person, and Jordan has always loved a competition. It doesn't matter what it's for, and. Yep, she was the next person to hit it over. So ever since then, she's had the nickname Home Run Hitter.
HRH, as we see Montana Edwards with a check swing. Grounds out to Kelsey Nucky at first base for the first out. Well, Sasha Penglay's now up to bat for the Rebels, and she will be looking to get things started for her team. And she gets a good piece of this ball out to right for Jackie Beale, gets under it and takes a great catch. As there's now 2 outs very quickly, all of a sudden, 2 outs in 2 pitches.
It was a nice solid piece. You just needed just a little bit more oomph behind it to get over Jackie's head, but it certainly sounded great off the bat.
It's a funny game, isn't it? Softball, you can have one side that is going through the line-up quite comfortably, and another team that sort of just looks at the ball once or twice, don't they? So you love this game, and you can hate it some nights. And at the moment, the Eagles are loving this game.
Bree McGee fouls this one off.
It's certainly been a challenging year for Glenelg, but what I really like about the team and the players in this team is that they're always, you know, their spirits are up, right? They still go out there every game with belief that they can.
And so they should. I mean, so they should. They beat they defeated West Torrens before,
yep.
So they can do it. They've got some, you know, some wins under their belt. They've got 3 wins under their belt this year with a depleted side. So
absolutely,
on your day, you can win.
That's right. And many, if we had a look at their results for these games, many of them have been just
Only
losses by 1 or 2,
yeah.
and against the top side. So they've certainly been competitive in a lot of games. It's just, you know, that little bit needed just to get them over the edge.
The crowd's gone quiet tonight, James, haven't they? They're sort of settled in to watch a bit of a display or anticipating what's happening next.
Well, Bree McGee will earn herself a walk and a runner on base now for the Rebels. Be interesting to see if they try to take on Allen's arm. I mean, they are chasing 6. I would be giving the batter the all clear to swing away here as they try to chase down this lead. So Bree McGee on first base, Taylor Mead the pitcher up to bat. Swing and a miss on the first one. So how do you salvage a game like this? I mean, you're not really playing for a finals position and you're already 6 runs down in the second inning.
Well, I think if we can take anything out of the Port Adelaide Sturt game last week, it's not over, is it, until the end. You just got to believe in your team. You got to make a pact in the dugout that I'm going to go up there and I'm going to make contact. You can't get on base unless you make contact successfully or contact at all. So you just got to keep going and going. Is the short game going to work? Maybe it's the short game, but this field here is red hot. We've already said that at the start of the game. So they need to just punch the ball out and find those gaps. My opinion.
It's good, mate. It's good.
Yeah, good opinion, or just pop it over, just blooper it over a little bit. But then again, you know, with the Faith Picards and the Jordan Lamberts covering the pivots, you know, a blooper, like they're both those girls are so quick. You know, they cover a lot of that outfield, that shallow outfield as well. So it's not going to be easy, but it is achievable.
Well, if you make some contact here between that 5 and 6, all of a sudden you've got a runner at first and second, and then you got Courtney Shepherd up. Who unpredictable, you know what I mean? These are these 7, 8, 9s that are unpredictable that win games, aren't they?
Swing and a miss. That's the 3rd out of the inning. So a couple of strikeouts now for Maddie Scott. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts in her 2 innings pitched, and well, it is not looking too good for the Rebels. They've had just the 7 batters, whereas West Torrens have been through their lineup almost twice. Jackie Beale is the 9 hitter, and she'll lead things off in the top of the 3rd. So Look, while there's a break in the innings, let's have a talk about the ladder first and foremost. Walkerville sitting on top. Played 22 games and they've got 31 points. Sturt second, 23 games played, 29 points. West Torrens, this is their 21st game. They're on 28 points. We're presuming that they'll win this one. They'll jump into second place tonight. Port Adelaide, 20 games. They're playing their 21st game tonight over on Diamond 2 against the Hills, and it'll be interesting to see if they win. They'll go on to 28 points and just 1 point behind Sturt. And then the bottom three, Hills, Seagham and Glenelg, all can't make the finals from here. 16 points for Hills, 10 for Seagham and 8 for Glenelg. What do you think, guys? Do you think we know the 4 is set as far as the teams that are going to play, but how do you see it panning out with West Torrens and Port still both got 4 games to play, including tonight?
I think West Torrens will sneak up to either first or second. The dark horse for me, even though they're sitting second, is Sturt. And yeah, I like Walkerville, and I like them all, the top 4, right? The dark horse for me is Sturt. I think West Torrens will sneak up to either first or second. But we've got to be careful of Port Adelaide. You've got Vicky McFarlane, who can run, and we've seen her in the last 2 games. How good is she at running bases right now? They'll be looking. Port Adelaide will be looking for her. So you need an infield that can shut that down. Does Sturt have that infield? I don't think they've got the firepower.
Jackie Beale up to bat for West Torrens. You mentioned Vicky McFarlane. She's definitely up there as one of the quickest in the competition, probably second behind Jordan Lambert. You throw Ada Brinker-Tree up there, and a couple of the other quicker runners in the league, including the likes of Maddie Cameron and Chelsea Robinson. I'm probably leaving someone out. I'll get some hate mail for that, but you know, it's
Pip Adkins.
Yeah, so some great Hayley Benithan, so some great talent and speed running through this competition. Yeah. Oh, special thanks to our sprint program, Mark.
Apparently, there's a very good sprint program. I should get onto it. I should look up for it. I should look it up. We've got the Australian Masters coming on. I should get on board, get on shape.
Look, to be quite honest, I'm sure all of our viewers who watch regularly have heard it, you know, time and time again. But I've been a big believer for a long time, and thankful for Softball SA's opportunity to work with these girls. But I'm a big believer that there's 3 parts of this game: there's fielding, there's catching, and there's base running. And you know, the sooner coaches can get on board to give it respect and take time in their training programs to work on it, you know, we're going to have all girls running. And you're not all going to be the Jordan Lamberts and the Vicky McFarlanes and Pippa Atkins of the world, but you can always be much better than you are now. And you have to keep working on it. Speed is just like every other skill.
Well, I'm confused. As much as I admire Kathy for what she does for Softball SA, I'm confused. She did not mention batting at all. I mean, I thought the object of this game was to hit bombs and just swagger around.
Well, that's the Scott Radigan way of the game, isn't it? His three points to softball is hitting home runs, bat flips, and talking smack. So
that's it. And he does that, some of the best I've ever seen.
I think you get more success if you follow Kathy Lambert's 3 facets of the game. Jackie Beale earns herself a base on balls and a runner on base now for game's original leadoff, Jordan Lambert. Patiently watching this one through for a ball. No one's going to jump in and mention.
No one's going to say anything. We know what happened. She flied out to second base, her first at bat. She'll be looking to make amends for that. And one of the favourites here, we all know, everyone loves Jordan. She's a fantastic ambassador for South Australia and this game. And we wish her well at this time at bat. So she's got 2 balls on her, and it's what you want as a batter, isn't it? You get off to a very comfortable start. It gives you an opportunity to watch a couple, and especially when you don't see them come this speed very often. We know that she's a high profile. She plays a lot of fast pitch. She'll get her eye in, and like she did that last bat. And she'll adjust accordingly.
Fouls this one off, so keen to get after it now, and this is probably where she needs to draw on all her experience and be patient for a pitch, her pitch, that's right in her wheelhouse. So 2 balls, 1 strike.
The disappointing thing of seeing her hit such a great hit is that we don't get to see her run and steal those bases, and that's part of the game that we've grown to love about Jordan. So there's a 3-1 count now. This is a, as Lee would say, this is a hitter's count now, isn't it? Or 3-0 he loves, but 3-1 is just as good because he got that second opportunity.
Yeah, Jordan's leading her team by far with 15 stolen bases already this season, which is very impressive.
Check swing on this one, goes foul. So you heard that groan as she put the bat out to protect the outside edge. But good sign that she is trying to be able to look after that outside edge and perhaps hit it opposite field. 15 stolen bases so far on the season, probably reduced by the number of extra base hits that she had. So you just mentioned that, the home runs, she didn't get to steal the bases, but she's hit a few triples, a few doubles as well in the season to go along with that one that went deep. She was swinging hard at this one. So Taylor Mead, it is, will probably be looking to just get this one outside edges, maybe the top or bottom of the zone, to try and get Lambert swinging at one that she's not comfortable getting after.
Out of that power zone, James, isn't it? You want it outside a little bit. The catch is setting up inside, which may be an issue because if she pivots on this.
It's a long piece of this ball. It's going deep to the fence. She's backed it up. It's 2 home runs from 2 at-bats from Jordan Lambert. Another 2-run shot, and she is celebrating tonight. She has hit her second home run of the game.
Well, wowee, Jim, what did I say? I said she's setting up inside. She's got to be careful because if she pivots on this, it's gone, and look what happened. Well, well done, Jordan Lambert. Congratulations, Kathy. We'll talk us through the statewide super replay here.
Yeah, as you said, she sort of was waiting and patient, and yeah, have a look at that swing. I think she might have known the minute she let it go, because we used to seeing Jordan hit and run, you know, really speedy out of the box, but she just knew it the minute that went off her bat.
Let's watch the bat flip. No bat flip either, so she wasn't that confident off the hit. Well, Jordan Lambert, 2 back-to-back home runs, first and second in the same game. Congratulations. That's a night to remember.
2 home runs. She's hit for 470 feet tonight. And, well, it's the top of the 3rd inning, so we may even see her come round again. 2 home runs in 1 game. Jordan Lambert, the smile tells us the story.
Wow.
Yeah, you won't be able to wipe that smile off her face for quite some time. It's a pretty exciting night for her.
Who will be watching the Spacequake Sports statewide super replay for about 3 days straight, which he may be calling it sick for the next couple of days. Why wouldn't you? I would. I normally do when I hit a double.
Well, this will be one that the relatives in Belgium and in Las Vegas will be wanting to put on the calendar to watch when they wake up. I'm sure they'll certainly enjoy it.
Well, pretty happy with that as we get to have another look at the statewide super replays. Thank you, and brought to you by Spacequake Sports, as there is a pitching change for Glenelg.
I was just about to say, with that second home run, James, that brings in the new pitcher.
8 runs the lead for West Torrens now. It is the top of the 3rd. There's no outs. 2 home runs in 1 game from Jordan Lambert. That's the story of the night, isn't it?
There was nothing wrong with what Taylor was doing either. I don't think she pitched a bad game, Taylor. I think she's against such a tough an opponent, an aggressive opponent that has obviously just slowed down their batting approach to a pitcher that throws a little bit more off speed. So that's what I think it's happened tonight. She's done very well.
Another great call, Mark, because the tactic worked in the 1st inning with you know, a cheap inning for Glenelg. They got out of it, and you know, as West Torrens batted through the 2nd innings and they put the 6 runs on, you know, perhaps it was enough to pitch to once through the lineup for West Torrens. And they all showed their class the 2nd time round. You know, they all sort of had a go, and they had the 13 batters in the 2nd inning, and now they've already had 2 batters in the 3rd with none out, 2 runs scored. So good move, perhaps a little late from the Rebels to bring in a new pitcher, but we saw the Hills earlier in the season. They used 4 pitches over the game that they played one night when Georgia Hood was away. They all threw an inning or so each just to mix it up. They didn't throw twice through the lineup, and that might be a pretty good tactic just to see something different, different pace and different out of the hand, different movements, different spots. So good move here from Glenelg.
Well, you're right there, Jones, because your first time at bat, you go, oh, I'm really eager, and I swing, and I get out, and then you go back to the dugout and you think, right, I'm going to slow it down next time. I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to slow it down. And then when you go up to change a pitcher, you go, well, hang on a minute, my whole mindset's now changed. I don't have to slow it down, but so yeah, that's not a bad little tactic either. I might even get a pitch in the Masters.
Yeah, we know softball, as like most sports, it's a lot of mind game, and it's reacting to what's going on out there, and it's continuous when the pitchers are changing. And Sasha comes in with a lot of experience. She's got puts a lot of movement on the ball, so you know, it's going to look quite differently to what Taylor had.
I was about to say, Kathy, the pace itself is around the 74, 75, 77, but it's a little bit of movement. It's a bit of, you know, a bit of curve. It's nothing crazy, but it's there, isn't it? And that slight movement, way back in the day, 20-odd years ago, Tolly Brown used to throw the slow, but the googlies that no one could hit. And then you would then swap him out with someone like Rowan Mullins, who's throwing 120 k's an hour, would really confuse you. And I think that's what you need. You need a fast one, the movement. So yeah, this could work for them to stem the bleeding.
Yeah.
James?
Yep, we see Faith Picard gets a walk, so first batter for Penglis is a walk, and Picard will be on second base for Sophie Hoyle, another one of the long ball hitters for the West Torrens Eagles. And leaves this one alone, low and outside for ball 1. So, geez, 8 runs already, top of the third. The thing for Glenelg is that might save him is that the innings aren't going super quick. We're almost at the hour mark, and we've only just started the 3rd inning. So we may not see too many more innings, whether it's a mercy or we run out of time. And that's probably going to play in Glenelg's favour if they just take the pace out of the game a little bit and make West Torrens work for every run that they get.
We were just talking about a little bit earlier about gamesmanship, as that one hits the ground for ball 3. We're talking about gamesmanship. Now, Coach Scott, would he be looking at stealing? Would he be looking at trying different moves and tactics? Or is Glenelg just going to slow it right down now and not give him that opportunity? Kathy?
Yeah, I think proper etiquette here at softball in this situation is that you do take the stealing out of the game. You don't bunt. You know, just again, it's just the right.
It's almost like a gentleman's agreement, really, isn't it? It's you're up 8-0, top of the 3rd innings. But some of these games is a good opportunity to practice. If you're playing your arch enemy, you don't take your foot off, do you?
Well, I've been known to do that when I've been coaching, but then I was told very quickly. I thought the same. I thought it was a good opportunity to practice some things, but was told very quickly a couple of years ago that that's not how it's played anymore. So yeah,
I could probably see an opposite argument to that. Perhaps if you weren't playing in an A grade competition where it is possible to put 7 or 8 runs on in an inning, but in an A grade competition and above, nationally, internationally, you don't see it, and it's actually a sign of disrespect to put a bunt on when you're 7 or more runs up or stealing bases. So you might not see them take pass balls, but that also might be a bit of a sign. So you take the pass balls. If it's in play, you run it out. If the ball's hit to the outfield, you run home. You don't stop playing the game, but you can take a couple of elements out of it.
Yeah, 100%. I've been on the receiving end of a couple of those games, and you got playing against the likes of Andrew Kirkpatrick and Adam Folkard, gentlemen of the game. They don't employ those. They're very sportsmanlike men to play against. Yeah. So.
Well, Naki fouls this one off and just lands inside the fence. So Alicia Mead chases after that one. So we haven't gone through the lineup as yet, guys, for Glenelg Rebels. So, I was going to say it would be good to see Barb swing a bat. She's the flex player tonight. We saw Taylor Mead go over to first base. Lauren Jury went out to right field. So I think Skipover's actually come out of the game.
Yeah, she has. So we're not going to, unfortunately, we're not going to see her bat tonight. But I do hope she's on the road to recovery and that we're going to see a bit more of her in the games for the remainder of the season, because she's brought a lot of good confidence with the team, and she's been really helping, you know, for them, because it's such a young side. So it is good to have her back out on the diamond, and I think it just settles those youngsters a little bit.
So we've seen there's more clubs than not in this competition have import pitchers. Now we see West Torrens has got the class of Scott and now Trzynski to throw from, so they don't need one. You look at Seacombe, now they brought Kim Reeder over. Sad story for Kim, we'll touch on that in a moment, but they've got Jade Peterson and Araha Munro to throw, so probably won't see them next year. Nucky gets all of this one, fouls this one long and into the corner. Just a long strike, there is none out. 2-2 is the count as we reach the hour mark. But then we see the likes of Walkerville, for example, and we're not actually sure who the next one is for Walkerville, for their juniors coming through. Maybe Ellie Georgiaris or, you know, Erin Reed's still got a couple of good years left in her, perhaps, but it's not the ace. So will we see a club like Glenelg look to an international next year, as they have with Skopova?
Well, I think they're going to have to. They're going to have to try something. And to be honest with you, I asked this question a while ago about that Vicky McFarlane, Jordan Lambert, Pippa Atkin type base stealer. Glenelg, they need a hitter and someone who can steal bases and advance anyone that gets on from a base on ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, they do need a pitcher. Yes, 100%, I agree with you. But they also need that one extra. Look at Kelsey Nucky drive that one out to right field.
Just picked out the fielder in Lauren Jury, but the runners, well, the lead runner will advance. That's Faith Picard from second to third. Sophie Hoyle stays put, thinks better of trying to take on the arm of Jury, so first out of the inning.
So just going back to finishing what I was saying there, guys, is that I don't think necessarily the be-all and end-all is that it's someone who can throw the ball 100 miles an hour. What you need is someone who can get bat to ball and steal the bases, advance the bases, and then have that someone who can then help you in defence. Am I right? I don't know. They need somebody.
We saw the Glenelg Rebels and a famous Katie, another famous Katie, who played for the Glenelg Rebels. Katie Bartlett it was. The name just escaped me for half a second. Katie Bartlett played a couple of seasons here at Glenelg, and gee, she could hit the ball. So they've done it in the past, and of course they had Holly Denny as well that same year, and that was back when Vanessa Stokes was pitching for them as well. So they had some firepower, just like you were saying, Mark. They won a premiership. Yeah. All right, so it's a proven formula. Another good call tonight. You're on fire. So will the Rebels go out and seek it, do you think, next year? It's hard to say. We don't have an insight. Great pick up from Shepherd, and she'll have to get this one across to Mead at first for the out. Just short of a catch, which made the runners second-guess themselves a little bit there, didn't they?
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation out there, because, again, you watch the statewide super replay, it drops just in front of her, Kathy, and which, again, you see the runner at third base go, well, I don't know whether I'm going. Good throw in the end there to get the out, Carly Allen out, but the run scores on the throw.
Would have been interesting to see if on the pickup she'd looked at either the runner on third to stop the run from scoring, or immediately go up the middle, try and roll a double play. I guess that's the experience, isn't it? Shepherd is a young player, whereas the likes of a Jordan Lambert or a Sophie Hoyle probably would have been looking for maximum outs.
Whites that are playing shortstop and stuff like that. So, but how do you get the experience, James? It's the old catch-22. You've got to play, don't you? You need experience to play in that position, but you can't play in that position without experience. So, you know, to get that experience. So, is that how it works? I don't even know what I'm saying.
I think you need experience.
I think you need experience, but
comes down to experience.
You know, but also I think you know, if she had the likes, like she's got some youngsters around her. I know Bree's on the other side, but had the likes of maybe Alana Kaesler next to her on third base, saying, "Hey, if it comes to you, try and roll the double." You know, it's just sort of having somebody in your ear all the time, just helping you with each play. Take that risk and go for a double.
Very good call. Because we did see. Oh, nice line drive up to centre field. Darren Regan's going to fire that one in. We might have a play at home here, but no, the cutoff. Mead takes the cutoff. We did see in a game that I was watching not long ago where Belle White was playing shortstop and significantly talking to the third base. I think it was the day that she actually got hit in the face, and was looking after her third baseman and showing the way.
Great piece of the ball, Brody Brovnik. That's her 3rd hit of the night. She's gone 3 for 3.
Same spot every time.
All to centre field. Alicia Marcheng fouls this one off, and Brody's got a couple of RBIs to go with her 3 hits as well. So maybe 3 for 3 is a little bit better than someone else who's had a bit of a night out tonight. 10 runs on the board for West Torrens at the moment in the top of the 3rd with 2 out. Runner on first is Brody Brovnik, and Alicia Marchek up to bat with 1 strike.
They're showing some heart out there, Glenelg, which is a good positive sign, like you said, for their team building on. And I know I keep going on about experience, but it'll be good for them.
Well, you're right. Glenelg did make the grand final a couple of seasons ago, didn't they? And that was off the back of Morgan Lashley, of course, who was their import pitcher that that had a good bat behind her as well.
Thank you very much. And this one pops up to first base, and Mead takes that comfortably. Well, we are welcomed to the desk for the update on Diamond 2 by the one and only Kathy, the best in the business, Lee Hull. Lee, good afternoon. How are you?
Good evening to you, Mark, as the sun's gone down now, so I'll take it it's evening. But thanks for the introduction. I've heard that Jordan Lambert, the shortstop for West Torrens, has put 2 over the fence over her sister's head. Is that correct?
I believe it,
That is
Lee.
correct.
Believe it. 2 in a row. Her first forever, and then her second. And it was a fantastic over the MK Services SA sign. I think one of them were very close to
I
it.
think if you're going to do that, you've got to pick out one of the sponsors for
yes.
sure. But she'll be unbearable, let's face it.
What did I say, Kathy? As she was hit, you've got to watch the replay. She's hitting it, and in the background, I think you can hear me say, no, 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 yes. Well, welcome, Lee. Give us a rundown. How'd the game go?
Well, the game finished up 4-0 in favour of the Port Magpies, but it took to the 3rd innings before Katie Sutherland Finch, the hyphenator, got her first K2. She finished up with 10 and gave up 3 base on balls, and there was some good hitting by the Port side. Georgia Hood didn't come down, so it was Emily Hopkins. Now Emily's not bad, but she's not Georgia, and she held them pretty well at the start, but Jess Neves, 2 safe hits, Ella Forrester a long ball for a double, Charlize Callahan another hit, Vicky McFarlane, you get sick of seeing her on base. She was on base 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
Did you steal any bases, Lee? Tell me.
Yes, and RBIs, there was Katie, Rita, Ella and Vicky, but Vicky McFarlane, we say this all the time, Mark and Kathy, that she is the most dangerous player playing on base. When she gets on base, you never know what's going to happen. But Maddie Rocha, I'd like to say something about Maddie Rocha.
Please do.
She had 11 plays out at centre field.
Wow.
Took some really good catches. In the 3rd innings, when they got their first run, she dived on a, 3rd innings, on a Vicky McFarlane hit, went up the middle, and hadn't not been for Maddie Rocha, she would have, it would have been a 3-base hit or a home run. So full credit to Maddie. But that's about all. Has given you a rundown. You got any questions you'd like to ask?
Look, stay here for 2 seconds. We've got a couple of changes. Kathy, we called it earlier in the game. We said that Steph Trzynski might come in just for an innings to roll the arm over and feel comfortable. And guess what? Trzynski's in. Maddie Scott's gone to shortstop, and Lambert has gone to left field. So we've seen that change. Lee, we were just talking a little bit earlier in this game about how influential Vicky McFarlane will be come to the finals against the likes of West Torrens, who have got a very, very strong infield. Does she have the skills to beat this infield at their peak?
Yes, in a word, yes. She's always getting on base. Her on-base average must be phenomenal. Yes, you can tell. Is that Jordan Lambert at left field?
Left field, yeah. She's just been pulled out from shortstop to left field.
It's a wonder she didn't ask to pitch for a while.
She's on a high. She's on a high.
She fancies herself as a pitcher, if you didn't know. But
maybe in about C grade, but you know,
well,
the days of pitching in A grade are gone.
She pitches in C grade. She's going to be about 48 years of age. But Steph, she came in the other day in the game and
Three down. But I think she needs to do this, the roller arm, moving into finals. Are you coming up against dangerous teams? Now, to me, I said Sturt, they're sitting in second position right now. Could be the danger team. They got over Port in a very good game on Saturday. They came back. So that top four is a mix, but you got those dangerous players. I really like Vicky McFarlane, her dangerous aggression towards it. And you just said she had a blinder tonight. I'm excited.
I've never seen her play a bad game, to be honest. Maybe that'll happen in the finals. I hope for Port's sake.
Lee. Look at that as we strike out. Steph Trzynski comes in and gets her first for the game. Welcome to the game, Steph. We thought this may happen.
Well, she's been known to strike people out, and she was absolutely brilliant here in the under-19 championships in 2015 where South Australia won. She was just sitting them down. I remember distinctly a game on Diamond 2 where the Vicks were none out and bases loaded, and the Victorian supporters in their usual modest way came up and said, "What's she going to do now?" I'll tell you what she did. She struck the next three out. And I said, "Is that good enough?" And they were turning and walking the other way, actually, at the time.
It might have been time to go. Well, it's popped up here, and Carly's under this one, and it's... Oh, no, she almost made a meal of that. Kathy, talk us through it. What did she do? Did she get some help there from Nucky? What happened there?
I just think it just was all a little casual, perhaps, but I'm happy to be wrong if I look at the super wides replay.
Caught in a bare hand.
I just think she just didn't quite get her body completely underneath it, and then at the very last minute realised it was a little bit out in front and had to reach for it. And
it looked like her glove got it in the way of a decent bit of fielding, actually.
Yes, 89 Ks. What does she normally throw, Kathy? Like, we've got an average speed for Steph. Is she an off-speed pitcher? I mean, we saw the likes of Sutherland Finch throwing 104. Kim Reeder throwing 112 the other night. 91 on a swing and a miss on a high ball, rise going up.
Yeah, I think, look, and I certainly could be wrong, I'm only guessing here, but I think Steph's known more for, certainly probably around the 90s, but maybe with a little more, she does, rather than having a fast, a speedy pitch, she does a little more with the ball, so whether it be a rise or whether she's got a curve, that's what I've always remembered Steph for.
Well, there you go, 94, get a bit of movement, and that helps, doesn't it?
It does, and look, and she is coming back from being out for most of the season with an injury, and that's just so awesome to see her coming back. And yeah, a great move by Coach Scott, just to take it slow, you know, just keep rolling her arm over and make sure she's, you know, going to be right for finals. And of course, we saw her named in the Aussie squad for the 2019 as well. So. And
a good showing from South Australia, which is fantastic to see. It's good growth, and those girls, certainly we wish them all the best, and don't they give back as we see. Oh, Maddie Scott stops that one, but just got that little sort of an overstep and slipped on it, but it was a good contact all in all.
Yeah, good piece of the ball from Caitlin, and no surprise that she is the highest batting, has the highest batting average for Glenelg this season, and yeah, good piece of the ball. Yeah, as you said, a little bit of an overstride by Maddie, just you know, getting herself back into that shortstop position that she mainly plays for the state team, but she'll just improve as she's there.
Well, thanks to MK Services SA, that was Lee Hull giving us the rundown. He's done the runner, didn't get to say goodbye to Lee. You know, we all know he's a shy man. Lee Hull doesn't like to hang around too long, doesn't like to say too much, so he just ducked out there to let James Harris back in. So welcome back, James.
Yeah, good calling, guys, as well as we see Steph Trzynski just goes back to work. She's impressive to watch, isn't she? She just is a professional in what she does. She prepares well for each of her games, and she'll be looking to get a few innings under her belt as she strikes out Regan Lambert for the third out of the inning. So we will go round to a fourth inning for the game. We are in run raw territory now. She hasn't the emotion to have gone out of the game.
Yeah, it has. Look, we were just having a bit of a chat, and it's disappointing that it hasn't. Like I said, the atmosphere sort of dropped a little bit. Well, I was asking about Steph. Look, we called it early, didn't we, that she was probably going to come in and throw an innings and just see how. And she did it. Was it 3 up, 3 down, or 4 up, 3 down, or something like that? The danger that Glenelg are going to do now is just drop their heads and just going to let it sort of fade away. If they have a really good innings here, even though they're 10 runs down, they can take something away, can't they? They can do something.
Well, when you are 10 runs down and you see the likes of Steph Trzynski come into relief pitch or close the game out, that's always going to dent your spirits. Look, we spoke about gentlemen's agreements, not stealing or bunting. This is in no way at all to demoralise the Glenelg Rebels Softball Club. Steph Trzynski did not start the season. She came home from Holland with an injury. She wasn't even able to finish the season over there in the Netherlands. She missed out on playing for the Stars in January. West Torrens need her to get some innings in for finals. She missed the APC as well, Asia Pacific Cup. She missed the Summer Slam. She's got a lot of softball to catch up to before she goes away to the NPF. This season only has, what, 3 more games after tonight for West Torrens and then into finals. So this is in no way meant to demoralise Glenelg. It is purely to have their ace ready for finals.
Well, Kathy was just mentioning that, weren't you, Kathy, about her coming back from injury and easing her in. And this is Coach Scott's way of just easing her back into the game, building strength back up into her arm. Come the finals, anything can happen.
Well, Maddie Scott back up to bat. This is her 3rd time around. She hit that big triple in the 2nd inning to score a couple of runs and just ducks on that one from the left-handed box. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see whether or not she puts the ball short play into the game or she'll try the running slap. So, a little bit different to a bunt, of course, but she can get the ball into play. Pulls this one as well, just ripping that one and well taken out.
Yeah, and that's
right field.
Jade Downs. She's just subbed into the game, and welcome to the game, Jade. Great take from a quality batter.
Well, good on you, Kathy. You were all over that, sitting next to our super scorers here tonight. Thank you, ladies, for passing the information on. Jade Downs snuck in there without anyone letting us know.
Well, another new player to the game is Amy Wheeler. She is in the box for Jackie Bell. So Coach Scott ringing the changes. We can see another new hitter to the game in the on-deck circle in Alice Prokopek. So we're Amy Wheeler, ground ball to Shepherd at shortstop, and a good play. So she did read the bounce a little better this time round and fires it across in time for the 2nd out.
Well, I hate to say it, but that's experience, isn't it? Just knowing what's going to happen. Has Jordan Lambert been taken out?
Well, it looks that way because I've got her up to bat now.
Jordan Lambert, we've got some changes here, ladies. Jordan Lambert, she hasn't probably done much with the bat tonight to warrant keeping her in. You think they've made some significant changes for that particular reason? Yeah, B grade. B grade. Looking at pitching in B grade now. I think Lee said C grade pitcher. She's started a new career.
She has just had a birthday, so she's getting a little closer to 48.
Closer to 48.
Oh, Alice Prokopek, speaking of pitches, she has pitched West Torrens into contention for finals in the B grade this year, so she gets her opportunity to put the ball into play. And a great shot from Prokopek, just beating the backhand of Shepherd at shortstop for Glenelg. And the West Torrens Eagles train continues to roll on. Another new hitter to the ball game. This is Ella White.
Right, what does that signal mean, Kathy? I don't know what that means. Is that hashtag single? What does that mean? I'm old.
Tricky call. I'm probably a little bit harsh, and I probably would have called that an error.
An error. Lindy, just for more information, before I asked, was it too hot to handle, which we don't have? What did you call that? What's the consensus on that play there at shortstop?
Lindy Radigan, of course.
Hit seven. Well done. I would have put it down as a hit.
Well, Shepherd will take a hard ground ball from Ella White and get it across to Bree McGee for the third out of the inning. So I was just saying how Lindy Radigan leads the team of statisticians here in South Australia. She does a great job. They provide us with all the statistics for each game, and we're able to bring you some great insights into the game, and that is very special thanks to that scoring team here in South Australia tonight, Lindy Radigan and Softball SA Life member Jill Williams. So after the 4 batting innings for West Torrens, they sit on 10 runs. Glenelg need a run to keep this game going.
We're very lucky to have the lovely ladies sitting next to us and feeding us all the information. And I say the 3 lovely ladies because we have Kathy to our left as well, James, who's been supporting us quite well tonight.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, the powerhouse of the panels back here to your left, the scores.
Well, we are looking down the barrel of a quick finish tonight, so I will take this opportunity to thank our broadcast partners, and that is Statewide Super, MC Sportswear, MK Services, SA, Spacequake Sports, and the coverage that they bring us. If you're watching the live streaming now, or you can catch the highlights, big plays on the Softball SA Facebook page, YouTube and Instagram. Catch all the action from home as well from the comfort of your couch on NITV. And we are very proud to have our product that goes nationwide on NATV on Sunday afternoons. For some reason, I keep getting some messages on Saturdays to say that it's on Saturdays as well. However, it's all very special thanks to Softball SA and Spacequake Sports. So Channel 44 it is, that's on Saturday afternoons.
Now, speaking of Spacequake Sports, we were talking about how beautiful the weather is down here and getting into shirt and shorts. Now, look at our famous producer over there from Spacequake Sports and his Hawaiian shorts on. He's got the
succulents on the shirt.
Oh my
God. Cactuses. And
is he enjoying the weather tonight or what?
He's one of the best dressed men in sports broadcasting. I can't wait for postseason because we love all the promos that he does for us, as well as bringing you the live action. And that big one that we're all waiting for is the top 10 plays of the year. And the Spacequake Sports crew all get a vote. So do the commentators, which I'm very much looking forward to, as Steph Trzynski takes another strikeout victim. And that is the first out of the inning. So Glenelg down to their last 2 outs. They need to put a run on the board. If they're looking for a leader in the hitting lineup, it's this young lady here. Now, I don't want to put any undue pressure on her. She's still in the under-19 age group, so still a young lady, but she is a talent to watch, and she is the future of the game for the Glenelg Rebels.
Certainly a very good player in her own right, James. We're developing some very good catches through this system. Softball SA should be very, very proud. We put a lot of effort into the... There's a good cut there too by Montana. They put a lot of emphasis on the speed work and the training, but you got the experienced people like Belle White and yourself as a very experienced and knowledgeable catcher, passing this information on to the younger generation, which is it's very, very good to see.
Yeah, we'll see our programs or pathways development officer Morgan Young will lead the Dragons program in this off season, which will include a battery program for our pathway players, and yeah, we will look to bring in the next generation of catchers and pitchers, of course, for the future of our representative teams. As a big swing from Montana Edwards on a rise ball from Steph Trzynski's second strikeout victim of the innings.
I like that. That's aggression from Montana, going after Steph Trzynski with a world of experience. Why wouldn't you go after her with 10 runs? 100%, 10 runs down. You know what? I'm going to make you strike me, and I'm not going to watch it. I know you're good, but I'm going to have a go. And well done.
Well, with just the 1 out left remaining, we'll see West Torrens move into second place. They'll leapfrog Sturt Falcons with 30 points. They still have 3 games to go, whereas Sturt only have 1 game to go. And we'll see Port Adelaide move edge closer. They will stay in 4th place on 28 points. So have a listen to this. In 4th place on 28 points, Port Adelaide. In 3rd place on 29 points, Sturt. In 2nd place on 30 points, it's West Torrens, and 31 points, Walkerville. So just 2 games separating 1st and 4th.
Wowee.
It's definitely going to be an exciting finals run. It's just so hard to predict, but it's going to be exciting.
Well, we also have to start talking statewide super performances, and well, Brodie Borovnik went 3 for 3 tonight. We saw Maddie Scott share the pitching here with Steph Trzynski, so combined great pitching effort for the Eagles. Great defense, as well as Steph Trzynski thought she may have had a strikeout victim number 3 for the inning there. What about you guys? Am I missing anyone?
Well, Maddie Scott started the ball rolling for West Torrens with a 2-run triple. Yes, you're 100% correct. Oh, look, I think there's an elephant in the room, Kathy.
No comment.
No, look, Jordan Lambert, her first and second home run. James, let us know. The game has been called.
The game is over. Damien McCauley calls game 4-inning run rule. We've reached the 84 minutes, so time was getting away from the teams anyway. It was an absolute show put on from the Eagles tonight as they go into the finals. The statewide super replay shows Steph Trzynski.
Well, looking excited about getting her.
Well, she was showing a little bit of attitude there because she thought that the 2 pitches beforehand were good enough to be called. She said that one was a strike, Damien, and strike 3. So she strikes out the side. I was just off while Lee was giving us an update. How did she start her first inning? Did she get
she got a K, and then she got a ground out 6-3, I think it was, and then another K, I think it was, something like that. So there was a ground in the field. But
so another 5 strikeouts. So the 4 innings that she's pitched so far this season for 10 strikeouts. Guys, we're not going to do a post-game interview tonight. Our man on the spot, our producer, is David Muggleton. He's got some work to do. He's doing a promo for the Hills Men's Grand Final. Will be live broadcast on Spacequake Sports on April the 6th. So we're very much looking forward to seeing a men's grand final as well. That'll be the week after the Adelaide Club Competition Grand Final, which will be 7 o'clock right here on the 30th of March.
It's going to be a hot ticket, Kelly.
All Adelaide competition finals will be live streamed, so the first time ever, as they are played on 4 separate days in a great initiative from the Adelaide Club Competition. We will see in March, I believe the Wednesday, the 20th maybe, I'm just guessing now, around about that mark will be the first semi-final, where first plays second. The second semi-final will be played on the Wednesday at 4 p.m. Between 3rd and 4th. The winner of that game will go on and play Saturday the 23rd against the loser of first versus second, and they will play off for the right for the grand final on Saturday the 30th. And I just can't wait. Like the top 4 sides are in such great form. Port Adelaide with a win tonight, West Torrens with a win tonight. Sturt have been on a roll. Walkerville and Jesse Dressick, they are sharpening up as the season progresses. Guys, what are your thoughts?
Oh, Kathy, I was just about to say, like I said to you, the dark horse. Sturt, Port are very, very even for my liking. You get one jumping one jumping the other, one jumping the other. Jesse throwing well, we know that, but then you got the defense like West Torrens and a batting lineup like West Torrens. You got to agree with that for sure.
Yeah, and Walkerville batting well as well. I mean, that's the thing. They've got the defense, but also they've got the offense. And you know, the same type of thing we talk about with them. We talk about with the West Torrens of the world as well. But yeah, and then we've got Port Adelaide and Sturt sort of. You know, they're there. Like, they just don't go away. So it is going to be a really exciting finals run.
Well, speaking of exciting games, this Saturday, 4 p.m. is our live stream broadcast this week. It is between 2 top 4 teams. It is the Port Adelaide Magpies versus the West Torrens Eagles. This Saturday, it's going to be a huge game. We very much look forward to your company, and we hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast. West Torrens Eagles convincing 10-0 win over the Glenelg Rebels. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, James and Mark.
Good night to you all. Thanks very much. Statewide Super MC Sportswear, MK Services SA, Spacequake Sports, and Softball SA. Good night.